Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-match review. Manchester United are shit. We are absolutely shit. We've just lost 2-1 to Nottingham Forest. This team is a pack of wolves in sheep's clothing, should I say. I can't even speak. I'm not annoyed. We have got trust issues like Drake. I swear to God, we have it's so hard to predict what this team are going to do because when they put in a performance like they did against Aston Villa, and then you watch that crock of shit that's just gone on there, you're just like, nah, I don't care what these guys do. These guys can go on a 10-winning streak, and you still can't fucking trust them. My assessment, I'll give you a very quick summary, and then I'll get the lads' thoughts. The first half, flatter than a laptop, no shots on target, no real patterns of play, mistakes in possession, no quality at all, and just overall frustrating performance. Would you agree with that assessment, Chiver?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was flat. It was flat, and the thing about Forest was they weren't brilliant either. So they were for the taking. But I think what happened was, so I watched Ten Hag's press conference, and he said in the press conference before that we would approach this like we approached Aston Villa. And I remember that when we played Aston Villa, when we had the ball, Dalot dropped into the midfield, a couple of times, and kind of gave them that extra man, so Eriksen could drop in pockets behind, and then Bruno could push on forward. But I think what Nuno did was place Elanga really, really far to hog the touchline, so Dalot couldn't leave him all the time. So Dalot had to play wide and couldn't come in all the time, and it was just left to three of them. And he did Eriksen and Bruno with Main was a single holding. So I think that's one of the reasons why we weren't able to get that much freedom as we did against Villa. It was a bad performance. We can blame the players all we want, but I would put this on the manager, solely at the manager. To be
Interesting. Stan, what's your take on this one? Do you feel the same?
The manager's definitely got to take his share of the blame. There's definitely some things I think he got wrong tactically and then substitutions wise. And selections, I think that's definitely on him. But then again, like, you can pick all the players you want, but when the players go on the pitch and perform like that, like, it's on them for the most part. Like, I think, who showed up today? Can we name one player that showed up? I didn't see
when he came off the bench.
Exactly, and he didn't start. He didn't start, which is, again, this is part of that was the issue I had with Ten Hag, like, why he didn't make a change at half-time. To be honest, I would have made it earlier because I thought Anthony was god-awful. I don't know what he offers. I really don't know what he offers. And then I think Rashford was poor. Like, that goal was all Garnacho. He made it. He got the interception. Exactly. Yeah, Garnacho helped, like, sing. So Rashford, if Rashford had missed that, I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my fucking mind if he missed that. Yeah. Midfield all over the place, and then you introduce Scott McTominay into that, and you're just basically going, "Oh yeah, fucking have our midfield." Like,
do you know what, Sam? When Chivy put in the chat, "Bring McTominay as a striker," I thought he was actually doing it. I was like, "Oh fucking hell, he's actually going for it." And then he went, "Oh no, just Mainu." Yeah. I was like, "Is that?" And it's like, it's not an injury; it's tactical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would make sense tactically if you was putting McTominay further up because that's what he's good at, getting into the box, not replacing him for your holding midfielder. Like. That was a strange one.
And herein lies why we conceded those two goals. Yeah. If you remember, within the first 5 minutes, when Nottingham Forest take this shot, like what's his name, Mainu, is right there. I think the thing about Mainu that a lot of people get that's quite underrated about him, because he gets a lot of reviews, but his positioning, people don't really talk about his positioning that much, and his positioning is always on point.
Excellent.
Yeah. And in the first 5 minutes of the game, he blocks. He's right there in the middle where these players are. He blocks. I can't remember who took that shot, but then he's right there and he blocks it. And it happened 2 more times in the first half where he's right there, because their goals were almost identical, almost
cutbacks.
And this is where, and defensively, this is where Mainu always is. So then he brings on McTominay, and we concede 2. And I know.
I wanted to pick.
Sorry, go on.
I wanted to pick someone because Dan mentioned it in the chat. He's like, we've ended up playing with Eriksen and Bruno as the 2 pivots, and then McTominay toward the end. And he's like, why are they doing that? They need more intelligent players at the pitch, which is true. Like, Dan's spot on with what he said. But the problem is, you can't trust McTominay to play 6 because he vacates the position and he'll push up front and then he'll jog back and lose his man. So you just sort of, you're in a shitty situation if you play McTominay because you're not going to get anything out of him. So that's why he shouldn't be on the pitch because he doesn't offer anything.
Yeah, if you're not playing him up front to be a poacher, which is really good at being a poacher, sniffing out goals, all that kind of crap, being an extra menace in the opposition, he has no business playing further back. And this is what just makes me lose so much confidence in this manager, because if I can see it, I'm just a fucking football fan that watches football in the pub sometimes and stuff, like, and if everybody else can see it, why can't he see it? And I don't understand.
In regards to the goals, because obviously they're the key moments of the match, you mentioned, you picked up on it before, the cutback to them. I was screaming at the TV on the second one because it's the same thing every single time. Yeah. Honestly, you can go through this season, right, and look at, I'd probably say around 60 to 70% of our goals, and they are all cutbacks to a spare man who's free in the middle.
But why is the spare man always free? Who's his man normally? McTominay's man. It's always normally McTominay's man because he doesn't pick him up. The first one, he looks over and he sees him. Like, he knows he's free, and he knows he's free, and he looks right at him, and then the ball comes to him, and he goes, oh, fuck, I better get near him, and starts to jog towards him, and then the guy puts it in the back of the net. The second one, he gets cut across, and he's going to help Dallo out to double up on the guy, and leaves his man free again, who then puts the goal, Gibbs White puts it in the net. It's like, it's McTominay both times. When's Ten Hag going to learn his lesson? You cannot play this guy in the midfield. He costs you games. He cost you games against a shit Forest side. Forest weren't even good, and they put two past us.
Their keeper had to give us a goal in order for us to score. That's how much we needed a chance. It was like they just sat there and just went, let's just test them to see if they can actually score. Like FIFA, you know, when you're giving your mate a goal or you're playing someone's little brother, and they're like, let's just test them, let's just give them a goal and see what they can do. The keeper completely fucks up, and then that is your moment then when you go, okay, we've given us a lifeline, let's just go put a fucking nail in this coffin now and go, you know, kill this game off. And then got it in him. They have not got it in him. And I take everybody's points in the comment section, and we're definitely going to read them out very, very shortly about the manager. I absolutely agree with that. But these players are just like, I mentioned Jekyll and Hyde, whatever kind of analogy you want to use. They show, whenever it suits them, they decide to turn up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, really, really good against Aston Villa. Everyone's singing the praises. They're probably all sat there buzzing, saying, yeah, this is what we mean, this is what we're about. And then you can't go do it against Nottingham Forest.
But
it's just like,
it happened again, Nick. We were playing absolute god-awful football. Like, we weren't under any pressure. We were just playing, passing it around and just generally not creating anything, not doing anything. We go the goal down, we all of a sudden go, oh, fuck, we need to play now. And they start putting passes together, and they start getting Ahmad involved in the game. But it's just like, why does it take that? Why do you have to go down before you start fucking playing?
But I think when we started playing well was when, because that goal was shortly after Ahmad came on.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when he came on, all of a sudden he's offering Bruno more options. The problem we have is that whenever the next game, just watch this or go back to other games, every time we have possession of the ball, we don't offer options to whoever has the ball. There's always like an opposition player.
It's like do it yourself, innit? Just do it yourself.
There's no options, so we don't offer the players on the ball enough options. And as soon as Ahmad came on, I was like, oh, Bruno's playing. All of a sudden I noticed it. Like, he kind of opened, and I was like, and Anthony went off because he had an injury. So basically, if he didn't have an injury, we wouldn't have seen. And Ahmad, I'm so happy. That's the only positive I've seen from this now, is that probably this man has seen what, hopefully.
Do you know what? Ahmad won't start next game. I guarantee it.
Mate,
honestly,
I guarantee
it.
It's not even a conversation.
I will bet. I know I already owe you a bottle of drink, but I'll bet you another bottle that he doesn't start next game.
Honestly, because I don't want to go, overboard, but just from what I saw, from what he did, he offers us so much more. Sometimes it's not about taking the ball and beating past 2 or 3 players, but just being able to spot players, spot runs,
combinational plays.
And giving your right back an option. I was just like, this is what that's why I put in the chat. I was like, we might score again.
Yeah.
because of what he was doing. And just that. But yeah, I've kind of gone on a tangent.
No, but I want to stay on Anthony for a minute because I feel like we're talking about him every single week now. And when you spend that amount of money on a player and put that much faith in a player and he's doing performances like that, there was a training clip which everyone who's watching this now would have saw, including yourself, lads, in training where between him and Ahmad, he takes about 30 seconds just to get to the point where he needs to. Ahmad, seconds within 5, boom, done. On today, he did the exact same thing. He got it on the right-hand side, and you're like, do something! Do something!
You see what he
Put
did?
it in the box, or run past a man.
He shimmied, and then he went to the right and turned his back on the defender, went into the corner, and then tried to play it down the throat. And you're like, oh my God, what are you doing,
The only thing you have to do if you're a wing-back coming up against Anthony is just put him on his right foot, because eventually it'll just do a U-turn and go the opposite way. That's all you need to do.
This is exactly what Kamwala did in the video. He literally just put him on his right foot, and then he just had to go that way. And Ahmad offers an unpredictability to players because he's good on his left, he's very left-footed, but he's also comfortable going the other way as well.
Do you know what as well, Chivy? He's a small guy, but physicality-wise, he doesn't get shoved off.
He can hold
he's
his own.
Strong, man. Whereas that's what I have the issue with Pellistri. Pellistri's direct and he's got his thing, but physicality-wise, he don't have it. He gets shoved off the ball. Ahmad, man, he gets like into it and he don't get shoved off the ball.
You see the difference between Anthony and Anthony on one side, and then Pellistri and Ahmad on the other side. Intent.
Yeah.
They have this intent. You know that even if Pellistri is not trying to like go and score, there's always intent. He's looking for players, trying to make things happen. And
I don't think the centre back's covered himself in glory either. To be honest with you, I don't think Johnny Evans and Varane had the best game. I mean, there was a bit in the first half where Varane's sticking it on, scores an own goal, and the foul as well.
The foul is such a stupid foul. Like, why are you just tripping him up outside the box when you know we've got a goalkeeper who's terrible at this sort of thing and a defensive line who cannot keep goals out from free kicks and corners? Why are you giving away free kicks on that? It was like the Bruno one. Do you remember when he chucked all the way back and then he fucking fouled him, and then we got
from the angles where John McGinn scored from, innit? And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, please no, please no.
If I was, there was a lot. Sorry, Nick. If Nottingham Forest was so much, if they were better than they are because they're shy, let's put it right, we're just worse. If they knew what they were doing, if I was whoever's on the free kick, just put it straight where Onana is, right, just put it right on him.
Yeah.
That, 9 times out of 10, it's going in the net, but he didn't. He's tried to play it like onto the line and stuff. But if I'm him, I'm putting it right on him. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
What's
I'm gonna read the chat. It's very short. Just one stat before I do get into the comments because it's quite a lot. Only Sheffield United and Burnley have scored fewer Premier League goals this season than Manchester United. Terrible attacking record. Let's get into the comments because people are going absolutely mad.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, of course not. Anonymous Mango, ready to embrace the Graham Potter era.
Oh, God.
It's inevitable at this point. Ratcliffe and Brailsford want him in at Nice. A new sporting director worked with him at Brighton. It's all coming together. Ten Hag out. Very strong words from Anonymous. Dino Lewis saying feels like we was robbed. Gibbs White should have been sent off. Clearly, yellow card for either the tackle of McTominay and then Ericsson, and the way he started protesting and shouting at the ref.
Dallo got booked again. Like, it just seems like referees want to book Dallo every fucking game at this point.
But I think the discipline in the team as well, though, is like needs to be caught. Like, at times you're just like, why are you losing your head there? Like, focus on the game. You're more asked about moaning about a situation rather than actually playing well. It's bizarre to me. Andy Williams saying all on Ten Hag, get him out, shaking his head at his whole decisions. Absolute fool. The Bounce Off the Ropes podcast, why take Mainu off as McTominay left the midfield wide open? We touched on that.
This is what
completely agree with that. It's not good enough anymore regardless of injuries. More frustrated watching Eric Ten Hag's team than an Ollie team. These are some very strong comments. Obviously people very annoyed at this performance, which is completely understandable. Darryl is saying, lads, this was totally embarrassing. I'm honestly that fed up with the way we have become a joke. I've stood by Eric Ten Hag, but seriously beginning to doubt he is as good as we initially thought. So fed up with this at the minute. Sell Anthony and Scott for 25 million in the summer.
Luckily, if you get that at this rate, Jesus Christ. Imagine you get 25 million for Anthony at this point. Fucking hell.
Aaron said, Dallo needs booking for his level of defending. Yeah, he's another flaky one. as well, in my opinion. I think, again, he can perform really well. Thought he was good against Villa. Thought both wing backs were good against Villa. But they confuse me. I never know genuinely what to expect from him, because they're just so, they're a camel. They're literally up and down. Like, I don't know what to get from this team.
Yep.
And also, after that Villa game, just very quickly, sorry. After that Villa game, I thought, do you know what? That performance was so fucking good against the Villa team, which we all said weeks prior to that game, that is the one that we're not looking forward to, because of how organised they are and how difficult they are to beat. And you beat them. And then it's just the Forest. I'm just like, oh, man.
Not even, like Chivy said. Like Chivy said, it's not even a good Forest. Like, they weren't even good.
No.
Like, they beat us without
Toothless.
even trying. Like, without even trying.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, if I've not seen any quotes yet, but if I see one fucking quote that says, "We keep going, we keep fighting," I'm going to scream. Because I don't need to hear that shit from any of these fucking players.
You see what worries me, right, about this whole situation is because Ten Hag's decision-making last season was spot on.
Yep.
Absolutely spot on. And his ability to manage his in-game decisions as well. Absolutely spot on. And I'm not understanding what's happening now. The issue now is we've come in to play just how we played against Villa. Nuno has set up differently, and Ten Hag doesn't have an answer to that. And the players don't know what to do. So this is why we're stuck. And it's like the players don't know what to do. They're fucking up with the whole, with the atmosphere, the fans and everything. And the manager has no answer to it. So then he puts McTominay on. Later on, brings Reggie on, and then moves McTominay into the 10, like towards the end of the game. And he's just making just reckless decisions. And this is what worries me. And what frustrates me as well is that I know this guy has the ability to change things. I know he can do it. Like, it's not as if I don't have faith in his ability. I know
He did it last season. He did it before. Yeah.
He's done it before. Like, I don't know why he sticks to some of his principles so hard. Like, I really don't get it. And this is what frustrates me the most, because I know that at the end of the day, we don't even have to go and look for a manager. This guy can just change his philosophy, and he just doesn't. And he's just so stubborn. And, we keep talking about players throwing the manager under, but he's throwing himself under the fucking bus.
Chive, so at this point, would you get someone else in?
I would have no problem getting anyone.
Oh, really? So if it got announced in the morning, Eric Ten Hag's been sacked, and they're bringing in, I don't know who at this point, Potter or something like that, you'd be happy with that?
Not Graham. Well, okay, let me put it this way.
Need fucking Harry Potter, I think they said once, didn't they?
Yeah.
I would have no problem with him leaving. It doesn't have to be, we don't have to wake up in the morning and he's gone. Obviously, if we find a good replacement for him, yes. Now, I know we keep going on as Man United fans about, we've done this before and everything. Now, Real Madrid won the Champions League in 2002, right? And they didn't win it again until 2013, 11 years. Do you know how many managers they sacked between 2002 and 2013?
I imagine, knowing Madrid, quite a lot, I'm guessing.
One a season?
10.
Every season?
10.
Yeah.
Because Real Madrid, in 2002, right, Manchester United, you could say, we were in the biggest club in the world. But you could make the argument that we could be the biggest club in the world in 2002. If you told someone then, Manchester United are the biggest club in the world, they would be like, maybe. Now, obviously, you get laughed at, you go viral, and, if you told anyone.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, Real Madrid are obsessed with winning. They are obsessed with success. And they are absolutely ruthless, and they do not care who they have to get rid of. You must deliver success. If you can't do it, get the fuck out. We'll find someone else, right? And when you talk about passion, there's no big club in football that has more passionate fans than Real Madrid fans. And they have a director who's obsessed with winning. Until we get off this fucking romance that we have, this we're just hopeless romantics at Man United. We love the story. Ten Hag, have a manager. Until we get rid of this ideology and become ruthless and demand success, mate, we'll sink. And before you know it, we'll be competing with Newcastle and Villa in the next couple of years. So I won't lose any sleep if Ten Hag leaves and we find a suitable replacement for him. I will absolutely lose no sleep at all. I don't mind that. But we cannot keep standing for these kind of things. If you find a problem, just root it out immediately. This is how I feel.
No, I understand it, like everything you said. I don't see a viable replacement. I don't know who comes in and does a job with these players, because don't forget, the ones that are returning now as well are all Ten Hag signings. So if a coach comes in now and then decides, actually, I don't want a ball-playing goalkeeper like Onana, I want something different. I don't really like the Sandro, I want more kind of physicality or speed in my back line. I want the, like, so what do you do then? Do you make use of the players that we've got? Like, look at the performance you've just done.
Yeah, ideally, in an ideal situation, there's no rush to sack this manager now, because there's nothing really at stake, because we're not going to make the Champions League. Really, we just have to avoid relegation, if anything.
Avoid getting beat by Wigan in the FA Cup
or something. Yeah, So there's absolutely no rush right now for us to change the manager. I think if we carry out an extensive analysis over the next couple of months before the season ends, and then identify someone, a potential target. Meanwhile, giving Erik ten Hag time to clean up his mess, because let's be honest, he's got credit in the bank from last season.
And that credit's run out, to be honest with you.
Well, it's running out, but I think he deserves the rest of the season to fight for his place, honestly. Because if we go and make an impulsive decision now, it might come back to haunt us. Yeah. So why not just give him the rest of the season, and
Sam, just before you dive in on your bit, I just want to read out another stat for you, because I know you guys love stats. Manchester United have lost 21 games in all competitions in 2023. Only in 1930, 1972, and 1921 have they lost more in a calendar year.
Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. I've just seen another stat as well. Anthony, in 2023, 1 goal. Entire year.
Against Forest as well, wasn't it?
Entire year, 1 fucking goal. That's 2 seasons. 2 half seasons, 1 goal.
People are talking about cancelling Jadon Sancho's contract. Cancel his contract.
Cancel Anthony's. Fucking hell. I'll try not to make it too long.
Because we can wrap it up soon. I know I'm no issue.
No. I know me and Chivy differ quite a lot on these matters, but I think people in the chat, don't worry. We're mates, like we're friends. We're allowed to have a debate. We're not arguing, so don't worry. I think I agree with half of what Chivy said. I think we should. There's no point sacking him now, because, in all honesty, who the fuck comes in and fixes this mess? Nobody. Like, nobody's coming in and fix this. Graham Potter ain't doing it. Emery, De Zerbi, they ain't fixing this. So there's no point in sacking him. So as long as we avoid relegation, then we just wipe the season off. When Ineos come in, and hopefully when they do come in, they are going to go top to bottom, scouting, recruitment, training facilities, medical department, everything, like top to bottom. I want them to go through everything, and anything that is not up to standard or world class, and let's face it, I don't think any of it is, they just go, right, you're out the fucking door, gone, bring in world class, top of the line, whatever it needs to be, and bring it in and enforce this into the squad. And like Chivy said, then for this rest of the season, Ten Hag's got that time now to rebuild a reputation and basically fight for his job. Because if not, and it was still carrying on like this towards the end of the season, you're going to lose a lot of United fans who are basically just going to go, look, he ain't it, and he's going to lose his job anyway by popular opinion. I think there's still a couple of people who are willing to hear him out and are against the players, like myself, but he's going to lose that credit really, really quickly. And I don't think any manager in the current state that the club's in will succeed. And I don't think many managers will succeed while there's still a majority Glazer ownership. But we'll have to see what Ineos does and how they sort of affect things and stuff like that. So for the minute, I want Ten Hag to stay, partly because there's nobody who's going to come in and fix it, partly because I think he deserves time to try and turn it around. And with Ineos coming in, it might create that relationship that is similar to what he had in Ajax with Overmars and Van der Sar above him and all that sort of stuff. Again, though, my sort of faith and my sort of thing is waning when we have multiple performances like that. Apologies if that went on too long, but I was trying my best to keep it.
No, I think I'm actually a bit like broken a little bit as supporting this club at times, because I know the manager's definitely culpable in this situation, but it's like every 2 years this happens, man.
Yep.
There's only so many times you could be like, we can do this and then change that, and then this can happen, and maybe this will happen, and maybe this. And it's just like, are we actually starting to become one of those teams who's just kind of like, that Spurs kind of get into Champions League, drop out of it, get into Champions League, drop out of it. Like, how far away are we from actually winning trophies, competing in the Champions League? I mean, it's got to be at this point like years and years and years away. That's first and foremost before Ineos even fucking touched this club.
Do you remember when Arsenal, after Wenger, and they were just in the wilderness for like, what was it, like 8,
The wilderness
years?
Is a perfect way to describe it.
That's what Arsenal did, didn't they? Like, they weren't ever getting relegated, but they weren't ever challenged for a title, and they weren't ever going to win like a major trophy. And they just kind of they just kind of existed for like 8, 9 years until they started, like, they brought Freddie Edu in and the Arteta, and they started building a project and all that sort of stuff. That's kind of what, and that's kind of where we are. We're just in the wilderness, just sort of existing. Too good to go down and be relegated, but not good enough to actually win anything and have a style or anything like that. That's kind of where we are at this point.
Just a bit of character in the team as well. I know I sound a little bit like Roy Keane, a bit of character, but I mean, I genuinely like. I'm looking. No, I'm actually looking at the team. We were speaking about the striker in the WhatsApp chat, right? And I was saying, I just need that physical presence who's going to fucking elbow, or, just a bit of something you can play into, can actually keep hold of the ball, retain it, and then the wingers can get up the pitch. I'm not blaming Marcus for that, because Marcus had lack of service, and we know he isn't great. I mean, as soon as I saw that lineup at the start, I was like, I'm changing my score prediction, because Rashford is a 9. It just does not work unless they're playing a high line. Just a bit of, I don't know, even Bruno and like guys like this, I just feel they're too flaky in personality, and the two, like, I'm looking at Bruno today's mannerisms and his eyes, he just look mopey, and I'm thinking, if I'm around that in a team, I don't want to play with guys like that. I want to play with guys who are like, come on, we fucking got this, let's get together, let's do da da da. He's just like, I look every time the camera pans to Bruno's face, he's like this every single time for the full 90 minutes. I get you disappointed with the performance, but you haven't performed amazing yourself either. So I really don't know. I don't know what this team is. I don't know what we're going to do going forward. I think it's just cling on in it, basically, until the end of the season.
Yeah, and it's crazy, because I really don't think we're that far off, because last season, okay, I know we've made top 4 a few times with Ole, with Jose.
That is a bold statement, by the way, Chiv. You don't think we're that far off. I have to admit.
Hold on, I'll just quickly make my point.
Oh, yeah, sorry, come on.
The few times that we've been there with Jose, we've been there with Ole, to me, it was still a bit false. Like, there wasn't any longevity there. When we made it last season, that was the first time since Fergie left that I thought, yeah, I think we might actually be back, because of what I saw this manager do through the whole season. Yeah. And for what we achieved to come third and get to 2 cup finals, I didn't think it was a flash in the pan. And if we built on that this season, I mean, we're a season or 2 away.
That's the crazy thing, isn't it? Look at that. The comparison is just
exactly. Like. So I know it feels really far away right now, but I think just a couple of changes, and we can be there, and the players have this feeling, and we have, once we have a consistent style of play that we can build on, like how Arsenal did. Right, and then just build on from there. I don't think we're that far off, to be honest. I know it sounds crazy now, we've just lost and all that, but honestly, I don't think we're that far off. And I think which is what adds to my frustration as well.
Yeah, just the last thing, Sam, I want to read you a quote and get your reaction to this. So this is from the manager directly after the game. We know the reasons why it's not working. No team can deal with so many issues and injuries we have had. We should still have done better, and we have depth in the squad. When you have so many injuries, the depth is not enough. How much would you lean on that for the reasons for the way we were performing?
I think injuries are a valid excuse up until a point, because you can have injuries, and we've got injuries to major first-team players in Lissandro, Casemiro. So to a point, because Lissandro is your one ball-playing centre-back you have. and he's press resistant. He's able to turn out of press and stuff like that. Shaw not being available is another thing. He's been not really available.
And I thought that was a
much.
minor injury as well.
So
like,
he's 2 weeks, so don't know there. So that's another thing there. Casemiro last season was integral. That Casemiro, Ericsson, Bruno midfield was integral to us, and we've not had it this season like at all. It's just not been there. So I think there is a point there. But as a manager, you have to adapt and you got to tweak and you got to change. And why he might not be able to do the football he wants to do with the players that are out, he needs to find another way and find a different way to win. And when you're making decisions like bringing Scott McTominay on and playing him, and it just legitimately and purposely making yourself lose by bringing him on, if I find it hard to sympathy. Like, if he's trying stuff and he's keeping Manu in and he's trying to play and letting them, like Chivy said, letting them have the ball and trying to counter, and he's trying something different and we lose, then at least I could, all right, he's trying something. He's trying to do something. It's not come off. Yeah, it's not come off. But when you continuously bring Scott McTominay on and continuously do that and continuously make us worse off because of it, and then lean on the injuries excuse, I kind of have a little bit less sympathy, despite the fact that his point is correct to an extent.
I feel like we're going to be discussing that after he's been sacked in like a year or 2 years' time, and we're going to be like, do you remember why he got sacked? And everyone's going to say, yeah, because of the persistent use of McTominay in every game.
Ollie did the same thing. It cost Ollie his job.
But a lot of managers did. I'm not saying it cost Mourinho his job, but Mourinho always picked him as well. Like he loved McTominay. I don't know.
Honestly,
just give us.
I want to see training. I want to see fucking Man United training, because Scott McTominay must be the best fucking player in the world. Honestly, Christ.
Fucking teacher's pet, man. That's what he is.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Eric, I've brought you cappuccino that you wanted this morning. Something like that.
I got the Dutch flag tattooed on me. Look.
Yeah. Look, it's got your head just below it as well. I love you, Eric. Give us your player of the match. Who stood out for you today? Well, either like United or Forest. Who was the best player on the pitch, you think?
That Dominguez. Is it Dominguez? What was his name? The guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad player. Yeah, he hadn't played a lot for Forest him either.
As soon as Manu went off, he had a fucking field day. That guy, absolute just was. He must have been going, what? They're taking him off. Fucking get in, lads. Just give me the ball. I'm having this.
Roll your sleeves up. Yeah.
Absolutely smashed it. I hate Morgan Gibbs-White. Fucking hate that little bastard.
I honestly don't know why.
He's such a twat.
I just hate him.
I do. Yeah.
Do you remind me of? Do you remember the Everton game when they beat us and it pans the camera to the corner and Ben Godfrey's like doing all that, like just being play. I've hated Ben Godfrey since that moment, and it was a similar situation there with Gibbs White. He reminds me of like Wario or Waluigi or something. You know, like the eyebrows, just dead like angry face. Like,
he's got a monobrow, I think.
He's got Waluigi. He's got a similar personality to David Luiz. You know that? Just I fucking hate him. And I don't know why. I fucking can't stand David Luiz. But yeah.
So Dominguez for you, Sam. Chibet.
Probably Gibbs White, to be honest. Either him or Elanga. Yeah.
Absolute prick. Fucking give it a Elanga. I'm not giving it to Gibbs White. Sausage. All right. Anyway, we'll leave it at that, guys. The pros and cons will be out in the morning, and that's going to be an interesting one. What? Go on.
Ten Hag said Manu's removal was tactical. Says he has no regrets about the decision.
Oh, we'll see if he answers the same question and has the same energy when he gets sacked. I don't think he will.
Eric, man, I'm trying to help you. Fuck's sake.
Make any other comments to read out?
I can read some out, yeah. Right, let me have a look. When he's bringing up the injuries, you know he's got no answers. Seems like he's admitting defeat. Shaw, Lissandro, Casemiro, big misses for Ten Hag, no doubt. But man, why would you rely on Scott?
Yeah.
This season, key injuries have ruined our season. Casemiro and Mount have been out most of the year, and Donny didn't play. Donny's just, yeah. Aaron Seen is a good lad in reference to Donny. Lucky Singh saying Garnacho good, Amad Diallo excellent, Rashi did okay, and then Dino saying see you tomorrow, guys. Yeah, make sure you check out the pros and cons tomorrow. It's going to be interesting once I've had time to sit on it and watch the game back, unfortunately for me. But yeah, that'll be out tomorrow. Leave a like on the video if you thought that performance was a bag of shit. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already, and me, Sam and Chive will see you lot for the next game. Good job it's fucking Wigan, because if it wasn't, then yeah. Anyway, in a bit.
Good luck with the goal.